Afternoon, YouTube. William here. I'm working today on a Massey Ferguson 550. We're in the hopes of purchasing. The combine has set for 7 or 8 years. It's been a little bit of a battle so far. Hold on, I'm laying on the engine deck here. So far we found a completely chewed off fuel line. We've done 2 trips. One was to a Napa to get a new sediment bowl. We needed it just for the rubber gasket, and our sediment bowl had a chip in it, or a crack. I'll show you that later. And here we're using just some air hose just for today to get the combine hopefully running. You can see it, we've got it running underneath next to the grease bank and out the door. Pardon the shoddy camera work. I am laying on the engine deck. Here you can see the turds are rampant. Here's a little buddy. He causes most of the problem to these old combines. He's moving a little slow. Yep, that's gross. Charlie is pumping up the air compressor. We found it's easier to get them primed if you pressurize the fuel tank. And then I have that line cracked right now, and I also have the air bleeder cap screw right there, the one in the center of the screen. I have it cracked so that we can get the air as far out as possible. I also have the injectors cracked. So far, this is day 1. We definitely have diesel fuel everywhere. We've gone through bleeding the injection pump, all that good stuff. Used a little bit of our own know-how. Our starter is getting a little roasted, so we're trying to pull that. We will see what happens. I think there's baby raccoons in this truck. Alrighty, YouTube, we have arrived. The old girl is still slumbering. We've got our larger, brand new commercial batteries from Napa. I robbed these out of our TS110. Got our boat tank, getting ready to crawl up and start working on installing the starter. Okay, I have our rebuilt starter installed, all 3 bolts. That's kind of a challenge. Obviously, you guys can see it. I took a picture of what I assume is the solenoid on my smartphone so that I know where all of my wiring went, because obviously I have slept since last week. Okay, our starter is installed. Our boat tank is rigged up. I'll show you that in a minute. And our wiring is all done on our starter. Unfortunately, my battery shop told me to put the ground into one of the bolts that actually bolts the starter to the engine. I don't know why they told me to do that, but they know their stuff a lot better than I do. This is my setup right now. We also shortened our lead distance, our battery lead, or battery cable distance. In my mind, that makes sense that would up our or lessen our voltage drop. Maybe I'm nuts, I don't know, but at least they are brand new cables, all fresh and not corroded. So that's where we're at. We're getting very close to trying it for the first time. Okay, we are going to try it for the first time on the second day with our batteries all rigged up. Starter should be wired correctly according to how it was wired earlier. Starter is rebuilt. I have 4 of the injectors cracked. When I pump this, I'm getting good action from the tank. I've also cracked this bleeder right there. I've gotten fuel pumping out of it. And I think we're ready to try it. She's alive! She's running kind of rough. I think we may have an injector missing. I've cracked each line, and we appear to be getting fuel to all 6 cylinders, but it's missing on an injector, I think. I'm not a diesel tech. I also may not be getting enough fuel out of this tank. I'll see by priming the bulb. Doesn't appear to help it. Definitely alive though. Alright YouTube, I'm driving it for the first time. Our smoke has pretty well disappeared. The engine has evened out. Charlie is airing up our rear tire. It's completely shot, but we don't want to ruin the rim. It does leak out pretty quickly. It is running. We don't appear to have any oil pressure, but that's probably from chewed wires.
All right, the sweet smell of victory. Diesel smoke. Hasn't ran in 9 to 10 years. We had to do some jerry rigging, but she's smoothing out. 9 to 10 years and she's running and she's smoothed out. She's moving under her own power. We got a long way to go. You're good. Got a long way to go before we get her there.
Unit is outside and running. It's a silver auger, which means it's one of the few last ones made. I believe it's an 86. Charlie's getting our ramps out right now. I thought I had a bad injector or something, but it's really smoothing out. It's not smoking. She's gonna be a runner. We're gonna bring her back. She slept for 10 years. Time to put the old girl back to work. Alrighty, YouTube. She's running. This is actually warm to the touch. First time she's been warm in many, many years. It's hard to tell how many. We're changing our return line right here. We've already got it loose. It just seems to really move the diesel fuel, and we're getting it down into our engine compartment, which is obviously not good. So we're going to run some of our airline up into the top of our tank and use towels, shop towels, to stop it off, so we kind of have the exact same setup that they had. Oh yeah. She's a runner. Hard wash. We're Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more as we bring this old girl back to the field and get her back to work after slumbering for 10 years.